globalization of the Indian economy, we have seen a number of Indians relocate to countries outside of India in order to pursue higher education or to set up a new business or for temporary periods for medical and healthcare needs. With India being a growing economy and Indians really being the top 5 in income and wealth generation around the world, it is extremely important for Indians who are relocating outside of India to consider planning needs before they really migrate. The most common jurisdictions which we have seen Indians really migrate to are the US, UK, Singapore, Hong Kong, as well as Dubai. May I request Aditi, what would you consider as the main key ingredients while considering a relocation?
Thanks, Bijal. So I think a few things that one must bear in mind when looking to relocate to another country. It's a fine balancing act. So let's start with India. As Bijal mentioned, Indian tax considerations are important to note. The fiscal year, the day count, and the considerations which enable someone to establish non-residency must be given due importance. Similarly, the other side of the spectrum where you have to establish tax residency in a foreign country becomes equally key. It's important to comply with the local laws as well as the objective as well as the subjective criteria that they set out to establish residency. Moving to exchange control regulations, which are peculiar to India and quite stringent, one must plan carefully how the intention to access capital abroad is actually implemented. Now, there are certain thresholds and limits that must be borne in mind. Importantly, the $1 million limit of capital repatriation that applies to non-resident Indians. Of course, there are ways and means to accumulate income over time and access it abroad. Similarly, any key positions of employment that one holds in India must be balanced. Additionally, one needs to also bear in mind the immigration aspects. So, aspects like ascertaining the type of visa and the benefits that it accords, and ultimately the duration for permanent residency also become important. Last but not the least, important things like ensuring your accommodation, employment terms, if you're setting up business there, then the type of entity and the funds that you use to set up there become equally important.
Thank you, Aditi. Is relocation planning vis-a-vis residency and citizenship the same?
A frequently asked question, and I would say they are different. India gives more importance to residency or physical presence, both from a tax and an exchange control perspective. Therefore, if one changes citizenship merely without changing residency, it is of no avail.
To conclude, and it seems like there's a lot to be done before relocating outside of India. How long does this entire process take?
All in all, I would say at the very least 6 months prior to moving.